So there's like a certain kind of level. She tries to be tough, but sometimes it just goes, you know, like she can't. So it's kind of like the, like personally, and I am then the one, I mean, like I don't, okay, I take my kids, I mean, okay, then I can't say like kids, because the youngest one I don't really take much anywhere yet, because she's still too young before they went. But of course now she's like walking everywhere and doing everything, so like now I can take also the youngest one, so I think I can take both of the kids. But yeah, taking my oldest daughter, I don't usually buy things for her, but I take her to different kind of places for her to experience. Like for example, whenever I go maintain the car, fix the car, or do the, you know, like a car checkup, you know, like yearly checkup for the car, I usually take my daughter with me for her to see that environment, you know, like different kind of like experience and stuff like that. And then, you know, if she asks, because you know, she might ask a question from the person who is checking the car, and then they're just happily to ask, I mean, tell like what are they doing and why are they doing it. And then like my daughter is like, wow, that's so awesome. And then also the way my daughter is so curious about it, and she asks them so not, you know, politely, and then certain way, the people are just so happy to see my daughter asking those questions and just behaving the way she is. Although sometimes she's very stubborn head, like really thick skull. So she like really, when she decides something, that's how it is, no matter what it is. And even with those one behaviors, like whenever we're somewhere public, at least when she's with me, she is really like behaves usually very well. But I don't know, for some reason when she's with my with my wife, she's really like problems. I don't know where it's coming from. It's like it's a different kind of behavior coming out depending if my daughter is with me or with my wife. So just crazy. It's pretty crazy how it's like that. But yeah, that's just the beauty of having a family. I just like overall think like, yeah, like let's be honest, like our biological like code is that we are supposed to reproduce. We want to pass on our genes and everything, like, but then of course, like we as a human being, we have also like mental like a level in it too. So we usually weight in not just our genetics, we also weighting in our experiences and stuff like that. Like you typically, like people who had very like unhappy childhood and really bad childhood, they typically tend to not want to have a family because of the experiences. They don't want their kids to experience the same. They're like scared that they will fail them in the same level or something like. So there's also like a human race is that kind of like we kind of like weigh in different kind of emotions and level of intellect on it. Like typically one reason like why people don't want to have kids is the financial thing. Because whenever financial status might be very tight, they don't want to have kids, which is kind of interesting that nowadays it's like that. But think about like 100 years ago when the money was tight, you still had kids. so there's a little bit of something else going on the mental state on top of the intellectual decision making with having kids and having a family. So but then again, it's always the thing, there's always like this crazy deception of that kids are expensive. I disagree a little bit with that one. I really disagree a little bit on that one, because first of all, I have seen like some of like a friends, couple, you know, like a couple, family friends and stuff, like, you know, like when they have kids, they are going to crazy like shopping spree, buying like very expensive brands and fancy stuff and everything. But you don't need to get the brand new you know, like expensive brand. You know, there's like a cheaper options too that are really work well. So it's just sometimes some things are just like no. And then of course like the effort. You know, like some things you can really like, you don't need to pay a lot of money if you're working, you know, like if you want things to be done with the hard way. So, you know, like if you want to save time, less stress, then yes, of course you pay more. So but it's like everything. If you want things to be cheap, you have to do it mostly yourself. So that's how it is. And then of course, especially in our country, we're definitely like usually the working more for money doesn't mean it's really worth it. So sometimes it's just doing some certain kind of a services all yourself. It's just cheaper option, way cheaper option. So there's like a balance on everything, but I just think like there is certain kind of deception how expensive kits can be, especially in our country where certain services are completely free. I mean, all the hospital services are 100% free for kids, so you don't pay any kind of like admission payment. Because you know, like if in our country you go for see a doctor, you pay this kind of like a small admission kind of like a cost, like let's say for seeing a doctor. So like you go see a nurse slash doctor, you just pay like 30-40 euros or even a little bit more depending the county you are. But with the kids you don't pay anything. And then also dentist, kids don't pay anything. As an adult you do pay something also. Like let me see, like when last time I went to like check my teeth, like do this kind of like a 1 hour check on teeth and the conditions and whatever possible procedures are need to be done. I think I paid like 60 euros, no, not 60 euros, like 40 euros to do that. So for kids that is completely free. So there's like a certain kind of like a baseline stuff that is completely free for the kids, certain services and everything. Daycare also can be completely free depending the family income. And then like the thing like you think like, okay, the cost of food when the kids grow, yes, that might be the thing that you might end up paying certain amount of money, but at the beginning you don't really pay that much. Of course, breastfed kids definitely going to be cheaper option, but if you have to go to the formula, that one can cost you a little bit if you have to be under formula, but again, it's not end of the world really. And the diapers too, those are the things that cost. But again, like I said, in our country we still get like a certain amount of money for the kids you have, so it can cover some parts of it. So it's not really end of the world. It's really not the thing that you're going to give away some luxury thing in your life. No, you don't need to. Unless you really want to spend money to buy lots of new useless toys and stuff like that, these useless items that is not needed. Because there is a lot of marketing around there, like how, oh, you have a kid now, you not need to get this and this and this, and then it's 100% unnecessary and even can be harmful even for the child growth. So it's like very careful. You have to be like, what are you gonna get and what are you not. But mostly it's just financially it's not really that massive. Plus also I have noticed we have become in this kind of like a culture that all the kids need to have their own room. Like all the kids need to have their own private room and everything. So meaning whenever you have like, let's say you have one kid, you need to have just one extra room for that kid. But if you have like 3 kids, you need to have 3 extra room for that kid. That's a thing also, like I personally don't see the need for that, because I have lived with my siblings at certain age in the same room and everything. So it's not a must thing in the end. It's just how you see it. But yeah, like I said, nowadays there's always something like sometimes I feel like the decision making of having kids is not really something like logical really. Like they're just excuses of trying to avoid maybe some other reason why somebody doesn't want to have kids. at least based on like how things are being, they talk. And they always like I also the best thing I always hear is the like, oh, I don't want to bring kids to this kind of a, like messed up world. Well, sorry to break the bubble, but the world has been quite messed up for a very long time. So it hasn't changed really a lot. Like we don't even like my generation don't even really remember the whole Cold War things and what kind of a things it made happen. I'm that kind of generation. And then of course my generation has never experienced like a war in our own soil. We have just a lot of memories and stories about during the Second World War, but nothing else. So we really don't know like what kind of a terrors happened back in time and everything. So now everything's so slow. There's so much of kind of like a violence and everything. Yeah, it's not really that massive increase compared to what it used to be. Maybe the reporting is more consistently, but a lot of things is not. So there is just some things that is like a bunch of questions out there, wondering like, is it truly like that? No. So it is what it is. That's what I want to say. It's just people have their reasons. I'm not gonna deny those. Everybody make their own choice in life and everything. But another thing is always the like high percentage of divorce rates is another question also. We are so intelligent and we are so smart nowadays. We have so much information and knowledge and understanding about how relationships should work and everything. But yet still for some reason we have more and more divorces and that's kind of stuff. So it doesn't make a lot, like there's something is lost in translation, It just feels like something has been lost in translation. Like something we've kind of like messed up in a way that we just don't know. Like something is going wrong. What is it? Which is the thing that is going on? Of course, there's a lot of different reasons for like why the divorce rates are going up. Before, people just stick around regardless how messed up the family was, and then some other stuff. So kind of like always, there's no like a simple explanation for everything. You can't say one thing. You can't say like, oh, nowadays divorce happened the highest cause social media. You can't just say like straight up like that. There's just a lot of things that are causing it. It's a lot of like smaller things compiling to be the massive problem. And youngsters, they don't know about anything about trying. Because everything is so ADHD kind of activity, so anything consistent things, it's like basically impossible. But I think like nowadays, actually this is the thing that nowadays it's starting to, I think like in coming like 10 years or 15, okay, 10 or 20 years, I think anybody, who wants to be a successful, as long as they're just consistent, they're gonna make it. I think that's gonna be a thing. The skill set that was just the mandatory or basic, it has become so unreliable that there will be the time that consistency is gonna be the key for success. Although consistency in the work life is not gonna change. I don't think that's gonna change ever. Like we're never gonna go reverse back to it that if somebody keeps working in the same company or like without changing a job, it will like increase their salary. That thing will not never happen, because the companies have seen it that everything can be worked around or worked and get done without keeping people in the company. Even though their skill set might be just awesome and everything, they don't see it because in the past it has been shown numerous times how easily you can just get rid of the the problem over like there's gonna be like small dip in the system, you know, like in the process, but then at some point everything just gonna be back like it was. Like that is the thing that has been shown, that nobody is really replaceable. So like a lot of things in the companies and the workings, how things are being worked, some stuff have been made so that, you know, no matter who comes to work, they still can be operated on some level. And then some things that doesn't go well, we just take it as a loss, but overall it's gonna be better than paying somebody higher salary to stay in the company. That's just how it is. There's just certain kind of like a change with the mindset and everything. That's where it's gonna come. So I don't think we're gonna be in a situation anymore that somebody's work skill is definitely so massive. Right? Why is pre-roll ads happening? That's weird. They should be off. Still for another 15 minutes. Oh, that's messed up. But yeah, that's like the point we are. But anyway, like otherwise, like everything somebody's gonna do, the consistency is definitely gonna be in the next 10-15 years gonna be the major key point for success. As long as somebody just stays consistent on their whatever they're doing, that's how it's gonna be working, and not constantly, you know, like the way I do. Like I start something new, and then let's say I do it for 1 month, and then I just then just something happens. Like there's a switch in my brain just goes off. Like okay, I stopped doing it. Like I have seen it like doing streaming so many times. Oh, like even though I'm not doing streaming, so I can, you know, make money out of it. That's never my goal. But just saying as an example, I get into streaming so much at some points I'm doing it really well, really consistent and everything, and then suddenly there's like a snap of fingers, it's not happening anymore. For some weird reason, it's not happening anymore. Like there has been few occasions like that, and I can't explain why. But that's an example of thing that consistency is definitely the key in so many things now, and it's gonna be even bigger impact in future. That's just how it's gonna go. That's just how it's gonna be going. But yeah. But hey, that's the world we live in. Everything is so like filled out with ADHD activities. Like everything has to happen fast, and so concentration is not gonna be so good. Sorry about that. Yeah, the consistency or like focus is gonna be so low. That's why it's gonna become a big thing. Whew. That was a tough one. Excuse me. But yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Oh, the GM buff is off. That was a really sweet buff. Okay, now it's not the time to open a trade. Not a good time to open a new trade. But yeah, that's just how it is. Consistency. That's the key. Consistency and routines. That's gonna be the main thing to be successful in near future. regardless what somebody's gonna be doing. Let it be affiliate marketing, stocks, investments, working just a basic, boring, hourly paid job. Doing it like a consistently and with a routine, gonna be, you know, road to success. That's what it's gonna be. That's gonna be the road to success. Actually, you know what? I'm definitely gonna go for a trade for today. Last trade for the day. Wait, get this one here. This one here, so I do boom. Oh, just a moment, let me set things up here. Let me set the things up. 495. Take profit 227. Yeah, 271. 2711 26 5. No? No. 49. Just a moment, let me check that everything is set correctly. And then this other end a little bit more. Yeah. 1 1. Now it's set. All right, actually, let me go take a quick e-break here. And also gonna go grab more drinks, so be right back. Gonna throw some ads. Actually, they're just gonna be coming out anyway right now, so we're gonna go for ads, so no pre-roll ads and stuff. Okay, so be right back. Right. All right. Let me see. Oh, just a moment. I need to check something.